Okay, hello. And today is 7th of March 2026. It's me and my friend Alex again trying to discuss all the problems in the world in this crazy fucking broken world. And me from Spain and he from some dark corner of the European continent where people are having a very hard life. I think only he is living good, and the rest of the population is
We're
is.
actually doing okay here.
I knew it. I knew you were gonna say something like this. How good the life there is. Yeah, I cannot disclose your location because yeah, people from the secret services will find you and want you to work for them because you know too much. Nobody will hurt you, of course. So, without further ado, let's start talking probably smarter things. And like we finish a previous conversation, and we discussed a lot of things not so relevant probably to the current geopolitical situation. And I think we're gonna get back to them because they're very important, at least I think for both of us. And this is a thing which probably there will be some discussion and argument between us, which will be great, I think. But first, I want to hear your evaluation on the current situation in the Middle East and, of course, probably everywhere, Europe and everything. So, how do you feel where the conflict is going? What is the direction the conflict is going? How do you think?
Well, based on the news that I'm seeing from the war zone, uh, everything seems to be going well for the Iranians, which is a bit surprising that it's going this well. I mean, everybody knows by now that it was a horrible miscalculation on uh, America and Israel's part to start a war because they basically went in with no plan. They thought it would be over quickly. They just kill Khamenei and that would be it. Uh, but it looks like the Iranians are hitting the Americans hard while the other side is mostly just hitting Tehran and not even military objectives. Uh, like by now, you know the story of the schools that were bombed where a lot of children died. It looks like they're still bombing randomly, like they're hitting civilians and not a lot of military objectives. I mean,
Do,
they're
do you
hitting
really
military.
think? Do you really think that they have any other choice but just carpet bombing? Because I think
They're
uh,
not carpet bombing, actually. That's the thing, because if they were carpet bombing,
yeah, I agree.
there would be a lot
I mean,
more
it was
devastation.
mistake by what I just said. They have not started carpet bombing,
Yeah,
definitely, but the the targets that they are, I don't know, targeting, they're inside the big city in Tehran. Maybe there's
yeah.
some bases. So what I've seen from the videos is just some buildings, just hit by some missile, shot from a plane, which is probably very effective for killing the people inside the building, but it just spreads more anger and makes the Iranian population more I don't know, together, and they just you cannot love or like, or I don't know, be on the side of the country which is bombing you at that moment. So I don't know. How about the news that Azerbaijan and probably Kurds from Iraq will join on, of course, on the side of America and Israel? How do you feel about this news? Do you think it's plausible, possible at all?
Mm, it's up in the air right now. So there was at least one faction of the Kurds that said they would not get involved because they do not trust the Americans and they don't want to be left hanging. And the Kurds also know that the regime is still very strong and unlikely to fall, even if they were to have boots on the ground somehow. And also, they don't want to be uh, just throwing themselves into the meat grinder, which is what a ground invasion would would turn into. So if Americans are not actually going to put their boots on the ground, I don't think the Kurds will do it. As for Azerbaijan, they've been wanting a slice of Iran for a very long time, and they did that uh, false flag. Basically, they try to pin the blame on Iran, so they have a reason to invade.
You're
And
talking about the hitting of the Azerbaijani's airport somewhere in this area, which is
yeah, yeah,
disconnected from the mainland. Yeah,
yeah.
it is. So you think it's a false flag? It's interesting. I'm not sure whether it was false flag. It might be. I don't know. Nobody knows actually. I mean, maybe somebody
Well,
knows.
Iran denied that they
Yeah, I
actually
know.
hit Azerbaijan.
I know. They're
So
denying. Yeah, actually, Arakchi yesterday I think went and say we're not gonna hit countries which are not hitting us, and it was like very funny interpreted by Donald Trump, who said they're begging now, and they don't want to attack anyone, but that's not true. Actually, I think it was some kind of a warning to Turkey, Azerbaijan, and probably I don't know whoever wants to join as well, Syria maybe, I don't know. We'll actually see. I think it's. I mean, if there is no ground, I say ground. I mean, yeah.
I think there will be, uh, but it's not clear exactly how because nobody really wants to. Because the first wave is kind of obvious that they're going to basically get killed, right? So nobody wants to take one for the team, so to speak.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard decision to die, uh,
Yeah,
especially if you're not so religious. And that's the funny thing. I think Iranians are ready to die, but the other side, the real fanatics, they're not. They're not ready to
I
die.
mean, the Iranians are basically literally fighting for their existence.
Yeah.
Uh, they don't really have much of a choice. They have to fight.
You know what is interesting? You said the last time. I mean, after we discussed it, you have forgotten to make some parallels between Ukraine war and this war now. So I'll give you the. I don't know. Tell me what exactly you meant there, because we didn't discuss after it, and you can tell me what are the parallels between these conflicts which you see,
Um,
or I
I
was
think I
wrong.
might have forgotten
Okay, no worries.
if I
No
actually
worry,
said
no
that
worries, no
and
worry,
wanted
no
to.
worry. Then I just want. I have another question actually. Anyway, today, I think yesterday or today, I don't know. There's so many things which are happening, but the thing is, someone, I think maybe the minister of the foreign minister of Iran, I think, or the president. I'm not sure who else already, but who said it. But he said, yeah, Russia and China are helping us, but I don't want to exactly disclose how they're helping us. And yeah, it sounds reason. I mean, they were also discussing. I think there it was some information that Russia is providing intelligence information. I mean, satellite pictures where they should hit, which is possible. I think it's really reasonable. But how do you think? Is it sufficient what Russia is? And I mean, China. I don't even know whether China is doing anything. But how do you feel about it? Is it sufficient or no?
Um, it very well might be because also today the Iranians also rejected a donation drive from China. They said they don't need it, so they feel that they are very well prepared, and they also feel like they don't need a lot of assistance to win this war. Like they need obviously the intelligence information which they cannot get themselves because they don't have the apparatus for it, like Russia and China do. But in terms of equipment and manpower and strategy, they have been preparing for this for a long time and they are feeling very confident. And judging by how it's been going so far, they seem to be right.
I don't. I can disagree here with you for something, and it is there were a lot of. really, I mean, very hard hits on Tehran already, and I have the feeling that there is no anti-missile, how say this, uh, anti-air aircraft or anti-air um, defense, air defense, how called it in English, because
Air defense, yeah.
yeah, I don't see air
Well,
defense, and they're not expensive. These C-300 Russian ones, the old ones, they're not even present. So, and I know that Iran rejected last time. There was before the on a previous war, 12-day war. Iran rejected any help from Russia, and I guess this time they have also rejected any help. But I don't see that they're coping at all. I mean, I see total air supremacy of United States and Israel over Iranian territory.
but
Or,
that was to be expected. And also, it's not really total supremacy over the entire territory. Sure, there are some areas where they have complete control over the skies, but not over. Like they did get some of their planes shut down. So
yeah, actually, even today there was some information about it. But so you
there you
see,
go.
you don't feel like Iran is really missing the air defense.
So the air attacks that the United States would be able to do, they would need some objectives to hit. Now, the Iranian defenses and um, the missile launchers and drone launchers and everything they're using to launch are very much dispersed across the entire country, and the Americans don't know where they are actually. And they might also, some of them might be like mobile centers that move from place to place. So even if Iran can control its airspace, uh, the Americans don't really know where exactly they have to bomb. And this
Yeah,
is part of their plan because this is why they call it, what's the name, the mosaic. I forgot
defense.
the entire name for the
Yeah,
mosaic defense. Whatever. Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's
I
very
think
decentralized, and there are many like separate units that have like a general idea of what they should be doing,
and
but
a lot of
how
autonomy.
exactly they do it.
I think
Yeah,
I think I think I heard this strategy. I know that this strategy is actually what is implemented by Iran at the moment. I'm just wondering if there is a bit more air defense in Tehran, would this would probably save lives because the concentration of people is enormous in that city, and people are
oh,
not
it would
leaving.
definitely
Uh,
save lives.
Sorry.
If there were more air defense, it would definitely save lives for sure,
The,
because there have been quite a lot of civilian casualties from the bombings in Tehran.
Yeah. So yeah, this was my only concern about the lack of fair defense. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. And how do you feel about the future? I mean, what is actually happening in OnlyFans country and the other Gulf countries? How do you see the situation in their lands? Because to me, it's a very critical point in their existence. What do you think about the other countries?
Um, so I had a thought this morning when I saw the statement from the president when he said that they're going to stop bombing the rest of the countries and just bomb those that allow strikes against Iran. That turned out to be just a slip of the tongue, like he didn't really mean it that way, and everybody else pretty much told him to shut up. Uh, but if it wasn't, uh, it could have been sort of an olive branch towards these countries to um, essentially stop allowing the Americans to use their territory to launch attacks against Iran. Like that's the shortest way to not get bombed by Iran. Uh, but that is still uh, valid, right? Even if we know that they are not going to do that, that they're not going to change sides or whatever. They're going to allow the Americans to keep bombing Iran. Um,
So you think
but
that
even if
they will continue bombing Iran from this territory, from from all the Gulf.
Yes, I mean it will take time. This is essentially, you could think of it as a masterstroke if some things are set in motion, but it's not very likely that they are going to be. Essentially, this could possibly turn the tables. The Americans were trying to destabilize Iran and force a regime change. Well, with this, Iran might be turning the tables on the Arab nations and creating some unrest there. Like, there's a long way until regime change. Like, we're not talking about that, but um, bombs falling on the Arab countries, plus some unrest from the citizens that don't really want to be a part of this war, right? Because people in Dubai, the OnlyFans capital, they just want to do OnlyFans and make money. They don't really want to be part of a war. But it's not just those people. All across the Arab countries, and Bahrain has been hit the hardest, I think. And it's also the one that is closest to see some sort of unrest that might eventually invite a possibility of a regime change. But again, we have a ways to go before that, and we're probably going to see that in Bahrain, or how that is going to play out, rather than in the other Arab countries. The other Arab countries are going to stick with the United States.
Probably. We will see. I think this is, to me, this is the most critical part of the whole equation. These countries, because without them, I mean, without them giving the Americans bases, I think Iran will have total supremacy there in the region, and there will be no. It will be completely impossible for America to do anything. Um, what is interesting, what happened today? It I think it happened a few hours ago. Americans hit, I think, reservoir or lake or whatever it's called there with the fresh water. Did you also desalination? I think desalination plant, which is Iranian desalination plant, and I think 30 villages, as far as I read, on Iranian side will lose their fresh water, and you immediately can think of the same thing on the other side, because as far as I know, all the Arab, I mean, these are Saudi Arabia and the others. I think 70 or 70% of the fresh water is coming from desalination plants. So this allows Iran to do the same thing on their side. And without water, without fresh water, these countries will probably be completely depopulated. I mean, I don't know. The life will stop as it is at all, even if there's still petroleum there. So, did you heard about this, and what do you think about this?
I heard about the plant itself. This is bordering on being a war crime, because that is not a military objective, and it's basically denying access to a resource without which people cannot live. Right?
This is
Like, it's not like taking out a power plant, because people can live without power.
no, no,
It's a
no.
lot
But
more difficult.
just sorry to cut you. But have you ever seen Americans or Israel to care about basic human rights or war crimes? I mean, especially war crimes. They don't
Oh
care
no.
about war crimes.
Oh
So
no, and they fantasized about doing this kind of stuff for a long time.
this is completely their style of doing war. So,
Yeah,
so does that mean that Iranian side? It sounds a bit familiar with what is going on in Ukraine-Russian conflict to me, but let's not move there yet. But I think if Iran does not start doing the same shit like American and Israel is doing, I think they're gonna be in trouble. Um, I think this is a dirty game,
they can
and they
actually
even
be in
said it's
more
gonna be a dirty
trouble.
game. So yeah, sorry, you tell me.
Mm, it depends. So Iran is interested in um, getting at least some of the people in the Arab states to have a favorable view of them, because most of them do. They realize that they are under attack. They're fighting for their existence, and they don't agree with the Americans having the bases in their countries, and thus they making them into targets. Also because they're not defending them, like all the defense has gone to Israel, and they don't really care about these countries, so they've been shafted, and everybody can see it. So if Iran actually starts uh, hitting their utilities, like leaving them without drinkable water, they're going to start to go towards the other side and start to see Iran as an enemy. Like Iran is okay bombing the American installations and the hotels where the Americans are staying. That's fine, but they shouldn't mess too much with the population of
Okay,
these
then
countries.
I'm gonna tell you then the other part. What about the oil fields? Should they hit the oil fields, or just have to
They've
then
already hit the oil fields.
they're hitting some of them, but I mean production plants and so it's still untouched. It is not touched really. So
Well, there are two aspects to the oil
and gas, I mean,
industry there. There's the production, and then there's the exportation, right? So one is the oil fields that creates the produces the oil, and then there's the transportation through the Strait of Hormuz. So Iran is basically threatening both of these. Like the Strait of Hormuz is basically closed for unfriendly ships right now. So even if they get the oil, they cannot ship it. Um, but the oil fields are basically the livelihood of a lot of the Arab countries. So if Iran is able to destroy um, these countries are going to fall. The regimes there are going to fall because they are being propped up by the oil money. Dubai exists because of the oil fields, and a lot of the Arab world is built around that. So if the oil fields are gone, uh, the Arab regimes are gone. They're not going to be able
yeah,
to
okay,
endure
but
that.
what more important? What about the people there? I don't care about the regimes. They are yeah, puppet regimes or whatever these are called. These are not. They don't represent people. This is how I see it. But what will happen if Iran targets these fields? Are people in those countries going to support Iran's hit or not? How do you see? How do you think?
So the effects of the oil fields being gone are not going to be felt immediately, uh, but it will not take a very long time either. Um, it's a hard prediction to make how exactly they will, because I don't know. I'm not extremely familiar with the Arab mindset. I just know that a lot of them, uh, especially in Saudi Arabia, are very religious, and this is also why they oppose um, the war itself. I mean, even if they are Sunnis and not, and they don't generally like the Shias, they still dislike uh, Israel and the United States, uh, and the warmongering that they're doing and the way they're fighting the war. So if the oil fields are destroyed, then the people will obviously suffer, and
Yeah, I mean
I'm not
this
sure if
is
a lot of
I
them are
understand.
going.
I understand your doubt. I have the same, but what probably the right question would be: is it even possible that their lives continue as it was before, prosperous? You
Well,
know,
definitely not as it was before. Like that, no, that prosperity will be gone, and that prosperity being gone is what will allow the current governments to fall. Because, like I said, they are propped up by that money, and they will not be able to offer an alternative. So there will be things happening. It could be very bloody. It could be less bloody. It's hard to tell at this point. Um, but without the oil fields, or at least until they can rebuild and restore everything, it will be very difficult for the Arabs. And it will also be an opportunity for other big players around the world, like Russia and China, to step in and help. And there will be some changes in how geopolitics works in that area. Like Iran is very much like a wild card right now. where the entire fate of the Middle East is in their hands.
That's true. That's true. Let's move a bit to something which I think was probably the pinnacle of this week. The Not sure it was during an interview or just analysis of Tucker Carlson. You know what I'm probably talking about, the idea that Hexet is leading a holy war, Christian Zionist holy war, in order to build the third temple. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and to me, yeah, I send you some information. You probably already have seen it. So to me, this is a very big thing. It went unnoticed, I think, at least in my country, and for sure. I know why, because mainstream media is suppressing things like this. But what do you think about all these religious crusades, new? It's not, I mean, not new world order, but apocalypses and new return of Jesus and all these things. How do you feel
Uh,
about this
oh boy,
plan?
where to start? So, what they're doing right
Don't start
now,
from 3,000. You can start from 3,000 years ago. We have like seven hours more.
so what they're doing right now is the furthest thing from Christianity, and there are many aspects to this. Let's start off with the apocalypse. Now, the apocalypse is described as the worst possible times that there will ever be. And the book of Revelation describes very vaguely the conditions in which it will happen, and they are also alluded to by Jesus and by some others in the other books. But the core thing about this is that this being such a bad time where it says that people will seek death and will not find it, like that bad, this is not something that you should want. You should try to avoid it. And there's actually the Bible offers the way to avoid it. Like it says, as long as there are nations that still pray to God and still, want God to guide them, God will postpone the apocalypse. But the apocalypse is not going to happen when someone here on earth wants it to happen. Like the apocalypse doesn't happen on people's terms; it happens on God's terms, and they are committing very grave sins by doing this, according to Christianity. One of them is that they shouldn't, they should not tempt God. Like they are trying to force God's hand with this war, and that is one of the gravest sins that they can do. And Jesus talks about this one because when he went into the desert, he was tempted by the devil. He was told that, oh, you can just jump off the roof of the temple. God's angels will swoop in and save you because you're his son. He can't let you die. Uh, so that would have been tempting God, trying to force God's hand to do something. That is a very grave sin to do. Um, the other thing is that they are very prideful about this, that they're considering themselves the chosen ones, the ones that uh, are leading this holy war for God or whatever. But Christianity, over and over again, across the entirety of it, preaches humility. Humility is probably the chief among virtues and also the hardest one, you know, to actually attain because it's very difficult to be humble throughout. Like everybody has a sense of pride, and every once in a while you have to like let that out. You can't imagine like never ever being proud, but that's what Christianity teaches. You should always be humble. Like this attitude of I am God's chosen, I'm going to lead a holy war, goes against all of that. And also, blessed are the peacemakers, right?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
warmongers are never blessed in Christianity. So everything that they're doing, like going in there, massacring people, thinking that they are chosen by God to lead the holy war and bring about the apocalypse and force Jesus to come back. Everything, everything about this is just sin after sin after sin. It's the most anti-Christian thing they could possibly do.
Honestly,
And
I cannot agree more.
also,
I completely agree. But yeah, continue.
um, Christians cannot really be Zionists because Christianity, like the name says, comes from Christ. You worship Christ as the Son of God. Now, who do Zionists worship? They worship Israel, the nation of Israel, the current nation of Israel. Uh,
It's probably even the
and the Bible,
land.
or the land, or whatever. The thing is, the Bible says you cannot have two masters. You can't claim yourself to be a Christian but worship the Jews. You worship Christ and only Christ. And the Jews are just some people that happen to be around at the same time as you, but that's it. They're not uh, like this idea that if you kiss them in the ass or whatever, and then you are going to go to that buys you a ticket to heaven or whatever they believe. Again, is very far from Christianity. But um, I actually sent you a meme about this. Was a I think a TikTok video or something that went very briefly through the history of how the Americans came to believe this kind of bullshit. Uh, with the Schofield Bible, and even before that, I don't know if you saw it.
No, I haven't. I didn't see it.
Okay,
I haven't seen it.
so
But yeah, it will be very interesting to me to, and probably to all 7 people who are listening to us, to to know.
yeah, so you've already probably heard that in a lot of nations, I think it was the UK, most recent one, where they tried the Jews, tried to ban the Bible because it's anti-Semitic, or not ban it, but put labels on it because it's anti-Semitic. And it is anti-Semitic because everything in the Bible is anti-Zionist. It's not compatible. You cannot be a Christian and a Zionist. So this worship of Israel that came about, uh, this was introduced in the early 1900s by a guy called, I think it was James Schofield. I might be getting the first name wrong. Essentially, this guy was hired by some Jewish, let's call them groups, because they weren't really institutions or NGOs, but they had the financial power to back this guy to create a version of the Bible with his specific annotations that essentially made out the Jews to be some sort of people chosen by God, and that this idea that if you bow to the Jews, then you're going to get brownie points for heaven or something like that, and everything that flows for that. And oh yeah, and before this, there came the idea of dispensationalism, um, which has always been seen as heresy by the Catholic and the Orthodox churches. And the idea of dispensationalism, one of them actually, and dispensationalism is that um, the, um, there are some eras where God reveals part of His plan or something like that, uh, and it all leads up to a final era where there has to be obviously the end of the world. Uh, and the Americans ran with this. Then came the uh, worshipping of Israel on top of that. So now we end up to where we are now, where they think that they have to do whatever the Israeli government tells them to, because this is somehow Netanyahu is to them the voice of God. Um, I might be, exaggerating a little bit, but a lot of them actually believe this kind of stuff or something along these lines. So they now have to wage a holy war thinking that they're going to go to heaven if they do it. And this is another problem in America because evangelism in America and evangelicals have been very much like a doomsday cult. Um, this idea that they should speed up the apocalypse, that they should do whatever to make it happen faster because once it happens, everything, all the bad things end and everything is good and that's it. Like I said, in Christianity, the apocalypse is not something to be rushed. It's not something that should be brought about on some people's terms. And again, it's going to be something that is very bad and that's going to last a very long time. And it's very likely that even if someone does bring it about, they're probably not going to live to see the end of it. They're just going to go into the lot of suffering that it brings and just die of old age inside that suffering. So it's a very bad way to go essentially. But they don't understand that. They think that they're the superhero in the story. And the idea that the Jews are the chosen people of God, again, this is wrong. So it stems from the blessing that God gave to Abraham. And God told him that through this blessing, he would be the father of many nations. And there's a very important detail there that God says many nations, not just one. So through this, um, the firstborn, the last born son would be the one to inherit this blessing. And a lot of generations passed until Jesus came along. And Jesus said that he bears the blessing of Abraham, and from then on, everybody will be blessed through him. So it's no longer passed on by just blood, but by adherence to the Church of Christ. Um, and this actually removed it from the Jews if they ever had it, because the worst sin, the worst thing that you can do in Christianity is reject God, especially when God is like right there next to you talking to you. Right? That's the worst thing, to have seen God, to have been in the presence of God, then just tell God to fuck off. That's the worst thing that you can do in Christianity. And that's what the Jews did because they crucified Christ. They rejected him. And what happened after Christ's death and resurrection was that a few Jews who converted to Christianity went on to become the missionaries and spread Christianity to the rest of the world. But the rest of the Jews, the majority of them, that were still following the laws of the Pharisees, which Christ very much fought against. And that was the reason he got crucified, because he was fighting these Pharisees that were twisting the laws of God to their own ends. And this eventually became the Talmud and modern day Judaism. This is also one of the reasons why Christianity is anti-Zionist. It is very much against the Talmud. I don't know. Have you read the Talmud?
Yeah, no, but I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Okay.
So to cut you, because you have, I mean, I think probably it's more than enough. This enough. I mean, very thorough description.
Well, not really. There's a lot more to unpack there, but we can take a break about it if you want.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because maybe it's. I think it's enough to show that basically Christianity, or the real Christianity, has nothing to do with Zionism or whatever
Or
these people are trying
evangelical.
to promote. It's actually the opposite, and
Yeah.
yeah, quite blasphemy, heresy, or whatever it's called. But yeah, right, very wrong thing. But still, I want to say something, and it's, I think, no matter what we think about it, people are trying to implement it. And I mean, this coming of ends and apocalypse and so on. And what I'm thinking about is the exact way of implementing it. And I can tell you my prediction, and you can tell how plausible this is. Uh, it is the following. I think that Israel and America will not be able to do anything real against Iranian people, and they will have to use nuclear bombs, and maybe not only one, but more.
It's a possibility.
And in that case, if you start a nuclear war, I think they will be very, very close to accomplishing it. Probably even they might accomplish a very, very bad thing to this world. And there is no one, and really no one, who is against this in the Congress in America. Both sides are supporting. Maybe American people don't want to support it,
Democrats aren't really supporting this actually, but
but
they're the minority in
okay.
Congress, right?
In case America and Israel bomb with nuclear warheads, I mean, first of all, what do you think? Is it possible? I mean,
It
is
is
their
very
plan?
possible.
Is their plan exactly this? Because I think from the beginning this is their plan.
Um, I'm not sure if America has a plan about this. They are probably just going to go with whatever Israel tells them, unless the regime in America is somehow overthrown.
This is
Um,
impossible. This I think it's beyond impossible.
they will have elections, I think, later this year for
Yeah,
the
but
House and
they are
Senate.
choosing from the same people. All of the people there, apart from Messi, or whatever it's called, this Thomas Messi, I think, and
Oh, I thought you meant Messi, the football
football player. I think
player.
he went on a picture with
With Trump,
Donald
yeah.
Trump with Donald Trump yesterday or something like this. This guy's full of shit. He's brainless. It's normal. But yeah, Thomas Massey, I think it's called this only single bird who is singing the right
He's the only
chords.
one on the Republican side, but there are also some people
Yeah,
who
probably
are criticizing Israel
two or
from the
three
other
names
side.
from the
But
Democrats.
from the Republicans, I think it's just Massey and
Um,
maybe
Marjorie
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 Taylor
Taylor Greene
Greene.
already gave up the fight. I think she's out of everything. She was
I know she
already
quit, but I mean, she's still a voice, for the fight, even though
she's a
she's still,
voice. She's a very
yeah,
credible voice. I heard her. She was in the redacted. I think a week ago or something. She was amazing. I love her really, but I think she got scared from Mossad or for somebody, or from I don't know this Christian Zionist mafia. And yeah, I believe that this is the plan because sometimes I have the feeling that people are underestimating the planning behind everything. And you even didn't. You just said it that they don't have plan. I think they have.
so Israel has the Samson option, and that definitely plays a part in this because what is the Samson option? It's Israel nuking its allies
Yeah,
when they feel like they failed to protect them. So if Iran is able to get the upper hand, and uh, even with the defenses that Americans are sending to Israel, because that's the reason they're sending the defenses to Israel. They know that if they let Israel fall, all those nukes in Israel are going to hit Washington, D.C., and all across the United States. Because it's not just that uh, Trump is an idiot who will just follow Bibi, and Hegseth is a fanatic evangelical. It's also that America has, for a very long time, been held hostage by Israel in very many ways. I mean, the Samson option is just one of them, but the Samson option basically guarantees that the first nuke that Israel launches will hit Washington, D.C.
I've never thought about it, but now that you're saying it makes total sense. It makes perfect sense. And of course, this is the reason why JF Kennedy was killed.
Yeah,
For those people who don't
and the
know
tanks.
what is the what is the reason why he was killed. Yeah, this I think to me this is definitely the way how things will evolve in the next few weeks,
I mean,
months. I don't
let's
know.
hope not, because if it
Yeah,
gets to that, it's
let's
going to
hope not
be
because we're going to hell. Everything's but just think about the possible. possible outcomes if, in case Iran loses completely, which means, uh, yeah, this land becomes uninhabitable in one way or another. That would mean all these refugees will have to go to will come to Europe, and we are doomed here in the
They
uh,
always do.
in the garden. How is it? This is Eden Garden here. Not your country. I mean, I'm talking about Spain, where I'm living, and I don't care about your country, my ex country. They're not their jungles already. Maybe not yours, but mine definitely.
And they're
So
probably more homogenous than Spain is, though.
what did you just say? Sorry.
It, I said that they are probably more homogenous than Spain is at this point.
Who? Your
Uh,
country?
our countries, yeah, in Eastern
No,
Europe.
it's a mess. Bulgaria is a mess. It's a total mess. It's beyond the total mess. It's a lawless place. Total lawless place. I'm sure mm, it's not the case. I hope it's not the case with your country, but Bulgaria is a total mess.
No,
Um,
over here it's all right. It's not the best it could be, but it's still okay, and hopefully it stays that way.
yeah, I hope for yourself. I think my country is lost. Anyway, in case of Iran's total capitulation, what exactly is already expressed by America, I mean by Donald Trump, he said total capitulation, which means all these people have to go somewhere, and they cannot stay there. I'm sure they. I mean, maybe most of them will stay, but 5, 6, 10 million will have to leave and will leave, and they have to come here, not to Spain, to Germany. I don't know, to have somewhere. They're
It
not
will
gonna
be
go.
a replay of Iraq. The
Uh,
same thing that happened after the Iraq War. It's going to be the exact same,
I
and
think,
it
yeah,
will take
and
Iran a long.
many Iraqis which came to Europe, but in this case, I think more will come, and also I think you know Al Qaeda, ISIS, all this mess which Americans and Israel created in Iraq, they try to keep the radicals there only to be weaponized against Iran at later point. I mean now, and at certain moment this will spread across Europe as well. You cannot just keep these people there, and I mean,
I mean, they just said that Turkey is next on the chopping
definitely
block, so
this is another
they're
thing.
going to
This
use
and
it
this will
against them.
happen for sure. This they cannot stay untouched. So this will happen as well. So, and when Turkey falls, Europe is falling. I cannot see with
Yep.
Turkey being destroyed and Europe stays safe. This is absurd
Well,
to me.
that's still a long way away if it ever happens. Like right now, we're not
We never
sure
know.
that
We
Iran
never know. You
will
see,
fall.
things are happening so fast. So you see, Syria fought in 12 days. Uh, Turkey is very unstable economically. It's to me artificially kept alive on the map. Uh, and the Kurds are gaining power, and their weapon as well. I mean, used in any possible way now against Iran, then against Turkey, then whatever. They can use them in whatever way they want. So I don't think that it's so impossible for the Turkey to get into very big trouble and uh, I don't know, get into pieces somehow. But we'll see.
I mean, a lot of things can happen until then. Like right now, surely Russia and China are already working on some containment strategy for the United States and Israel.
So you still believe that the Russians are going to do something, and Chinese? This is probably another point where we disagree. I
The
probably
Chinese are definitely doing something. The Russians
I,
maybe not at the same
I can
pace,
tell you
but I
what
think
Chinese are doing. They're watching the dead bodies of their enemies on the river. They're waiting for the next century and whatever. They're doing nothing. I mean, this is how I see it. Maybe you don't think so, but I don't believe that Chinese are doing anything at all but watching, and they're not religious.
no,
I
the
think.
Chinese have an interest in Iran remaining Iran and not
I
being
know,
taken over
I
by
know,
the
I know.
United States and Israel. And they also don't want the US to extend their influence across the Middle East. So they have to. Uh,
They have to
I
do
mean, they
something.
will have to go all in for Iran if it comes to that. It right now it's not looking that it will. But if the nukes start flying or anything like that, uh, I think China will do something about it.
We'll see. We'll see. Definitely, we have to see it soon, much sooner than falling of Turkey or anything like this. We have to see intervention on China of China. But yeah, anyway. So I'm not sure what is your observation of the Ukrainian war, and to me, it is not. I mean, if you can tell me how what you're seeing there, but to me, it's like the soldiers are just watching Telegram and looking what is going on in Middle East. They're moving almost, I mean, very slowly, the Russians, like in the normal way. I see that they're getting closer to Slavyansk and Kramatorsk, and everybody says this is going to be the end game. Um, yes, probably it will be, but they're still far away from it. I'm not sure about the depletion of their air defense. Yesterday night, I mean this night, last night, there was a very big attack from Russians with a lot of drones, a lot of
The
ballistic.
one on Kiev, right?
You saw, but the air defense worked. So that means they have enough Patriot or whatever they're using in whatever magic they're using in Kiev and other cities, but there was nothing big hit. Otherwise,
I
we
mean, if Zelensky gets his way, they will sell that to the Middle East and then have nothing to defend themselves with.
they still have something. Yeah, they still have a lot of things to defend themselves. So far, I don't even want to discuss this because I mean, if you want, you can discuss the war there. But if you don't want, I wanna jump onto the other topic if you want, or we can cut
We
this
can
talk.
discuss it quickly. Like the war in Ukraine has been for a very long time a meat grinder, and uh, that is essentially the plan to just wear Ukraine down completely until they have nothing left. But Europe and NATO are still pumping a lot of things into Ukraine, and they've been propping them up. Uh, and then Trump is trying to pose as the savior for ending the war, but of course he's not able to. So this only ends one way when Russia is able to win. That will be the end of it. But until then, expect it to just
What is a
drag
win?
along
What is a win?
in this.
How do you define win? Because I can tell you how I would define win for Russia. It's exactly how Donald Trump defined it today. Total capitulation. This is the only acceptable for Russian army and for Russian people. But I think the Kremlin regime or whatever you call it, government, they probably are not aiming of doing this. And this is one thing I want to ask you: how do you see the end, and also the length, especially
So
Odessa?
publicly, they have said that they want the areas that they already captured to remain with Russia, and uh, maybe also install a friendlier government in Kiev. But I that's what they are saying publicly. I think they actually want more than that. Maybe not total capitulation and like removing Ukraine from the map and just becoming part of Russia. Uh, but they would be all right with having, another state that is friendly to them. Not sure if I should call it a puppet state because something like Belarus, which a lot of people refer to as a Russian puppet state, but it's actually not quite a puppet
It's
state.
not at all. I mean, I can if you
Yeah,
think it is, I totally disagree, and I can. I mean,
I don't know,
I'm
but
so deep into
something like
this
that,
war.
a state that is friendly to
Yeah.
Russia and
Yes.
doesn't fight the
Okay.
bullshit.
Okay.
The problem there is that the Ukrainians are very brainwashed against that kind of stuff,
Okay. You
against the
understand.
Russians.
You understand completely the picture. And so then I want to ask you the most important question. Let's get real. And it's not. I mean, do you think it's even possible a friendly Ukraine with this with the Ukrainian nationalist? population next to Russia, not next to Russian territory, whatever this territory is. Is it possible?
No, but a lot of the nationalists have been wiped out in the war. Uh, Maybe that's one of the reasons why it's a meat grinder to just
Yeah,
grind down those
exactly. This is
nationalists.
one of this is why it's so important for the Russians to do it this way. I understand this, but still, I don't believe in the possibility of existence of Ukraine after. I mean, when on a real full stop, after the hostilities completely finished, they will finish only after there is not a single person in Ukraine who wants to destroy Russians, to kill Russians. I mean, this Russophobia is total there, and it didn't stop. It grew through these 4 years. It's now so much more in Ukrainian, and this is very important. Ukrainian ethnicity people. While Russians, they knew from the beginning what it was, and they don't want to participate in the society. Basically, this is society is divided completely into two pieces. Very distinctive.
Yes, but there are other ways you can bring those people over without killing them. You can essentially re-educate Ukrainians,
You
but you need there to not be too many of them to be able to do that.
you remind me of that education of Western Germany, and
Yeah,
this
exactly.
never worked. This actually never worked. Uh, this never worked. This
In West
hatred.
Germany.
If they, I mean, if Russians killed your father, your mother, you destroyed your country, that doesn't work.
Oh, you're referring in regards to Russia. No, I thought you meant the re-education in regards to Nazi Germany and the West.
Yeah, I was referring regarding this as well. Yeah, it didn't work. The
This one worked. Like Germany right now, if you even remind them of Nazi Germany, they're probably gonna accuse you of something
you
and send you
you
to jail.
think it worked because you have never lived in Germany. Because yeah, this is the official way how German people behave in a geopolitical way. If you speak with them and you don't know them, this is exactly the impression that you're gonna get, that they learn their lesson. They never learn the lesson. Every friend in
Not
Germany.
that they learned their lesson, because Germans are still Germans. They're now being obedient to the West, essentially, and
No, no,
reneging
I
their
don't think they're
past.
obedient to West. They are part of this. They
They are.
are. I mean, they like this idea of destroying Russia. They are all in this idea because they like it. Because I think to them it sounds a good idea, and it never have sounded bad to them.
So the thing about Germans is that whatever you tell them from a position of authority, they will just lap up. That's been the case throughout
I
most of
agree. I
history.
agree. I agree. They like
So
to be.
right now, their masters in Washington are telling them to hate Russia, so they hate Russia. If for whatever reason the masters start giving them a different message, they will just switch.
Okay, I would probably agree with you, but I don't see this different message coming anytime soon or at all.
It will not come anytime soon.
Uh, also, you said masters in Washington. You do you think? I mean, where do you think are their masters? Our masters, because we are all both European citizens, and who is controlling Europe?
I
It's
mean,
definitely not von
de
der
facto,
Leyen.
the European Union is controlled by Germany and France and always has been. But France and Germany are controlled by the United States because of the Marshall Plan
Uh, wait, okay, but
and
also
NATO.
there's also Britain. But this Britain is in the equation. What is the role in
Yeah.
Britain in controlling Europe?
So the role of Britain, Britain used to have like the largest freedom, was the biggest naval power of the planet for a very, very long time. Um, so Britain's role is more militaristic than the rest of the countries. Like France and Germany, they came up with the euro to control the economy of Europe. Now, Britain is there to essentially, I'm going to use terms I don't like, but essentially just be imperialistic and just go for resources and grab them and not allow others to do it. That's what Britain does
I
or
think
used to do.
it at this moment. I think Britain is controlling everything in Europe, and of course, in a
No idea.
in coordination with America. So no one in Germany is really making any decisions. No one in France. No one in
Well,
Spain, of course.
Germany hasn't been making decisions in Europe for quite some time. It's not
Ah,
just
well,
now. They
after
kind of
1945 until
yeah. Well,
1945.
no, because again, the euro was created by both France and Germany, and because of the Marshall Plan and the reindustrialization of Germany after World War II, they were supposed to be the economic powerhouse of Europe. Um, didn't really turn out that way because as soon as they got everything out of the infrastructure that Hitler built, they didn't come up with anything with a lot of new things to keep it up. And especially because they've been stifled directly from Washington. Um, but Britain is not controlling and never has been. I mean, they have a say, a very important say. They've always had that, but they're not the ones pulling the strings. And uh, Washington has been pulling the strings of Britain for a very long time now. So what might seem to you that they're doing this alongside Washington, it's actually Washington just puppeteering them so they pull some other
So
strings
you're saying
that
that
slow
Europe
down.
is under the full control of US, whoever is there,
Yes,
deep
yes.
state, which to me the deep state is basically the Israel
No, not
lobby,
not not
APAC.
not the deep state. Maybe the CIA. I mean, the CIA, I think, definitely has a hand in the European Union, uh, and I think there's a lot of Mossad in there as well.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I probably I can agree with this. Uh, anyway, I mean however I look at it, it's so fucking ugly. We lost completely our. I mean, I don't think we have ever had it. Like you said, maybe we were not exactly uh, taking the
Independent.
decisions. Yeah, not independent at all, and we'll probably
Well,
not be soon. Soon will not be
not
again.
since World War II, at least.
Yeah,
Before that, there were countries that were able to be independent.
yeah. Well, if something big happens, it might lead to new independence of some of the countries and the stop of existence of others. And yeah, we'll see new Europe, I think. But yeah, let's not be so optimistic. Let me ask you something now, because I want to go into probably the most interesting to me what we discuss, and this conversation between the Jyoti Brar, who I really like and you don't, because she's the leader of the Communist Party in UK. I hope
That's
you,
not the reason I don't like her.
yeah, probably don't like her because what she's saying, and I think I really agree with probably most of everything she says, but I want to jump on this topic because to me it's interesting. I want to ask you, do you have like 30 more minutes or something for deeper discussion on these topics?
Yep.
Because I think it's probably going to be more interesting even than this. So I want to ask you something um, about what is your acquaintance with Marx, with the Capital and everything, like the ideas there, because it's a starting point for the conversation about Marxism, and yeah, how do you? I mean, what do you know about it? How much you are deep into this?
I've studied Marxism on the more on the political aspect of it than the economic aspect, because I saw no need to go into the economics, because capitalism, at least at the time, had most of the answers, and I still think it does, and it's a better system than whatever Marx
Wait, wait,
proposed.
wait, 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 wait. Okay, okay. Let me cut you here. So first, Mark never proposed anything, and this is why I wanted to give you something, because I think maybe you are mistaking things here. So Marx is just an observer.
You mean
He
from each according to his ability, to each according to his need, is not a proposal of a
wait,
certain
wait, wait.
system?
No, no, let me. Marx is a scholar. He just sees the system and he thinks. I mean, he describes the system and he says, okay, with this initial uh, parameters of the system, you're gonna get this result. And he got some things correct, he got some things wrong, some things very wrong, something very right. But
What
he's
did he
just
get
an
right?
observer. Sorry?
What did he get right?
What he get right exact, I think this is the most critical thing. What he get right is the accumulation of wealth. This is happening, and this is the big problem of capitalism,
But
because it's accumulation of wealth into smaller and smaller groups of people, which we observe every day. What he didn't understood and what he didn't realize, that there are ways for this small group to make adjustments so it doesn't lead to global shift to revolutions. He thought that this is going to happen, and he thought that it's going. The other wrong thing what he thought is, he thought that the bourgeois Western societies are more susceptible to this. What actually in reality happened is the village, I mean these undeveloped countries like Russia, China, African countries, which I told you, which I start to telling you about, South American countries, they were the place where socialism, communism rose much easy, and the developed societies didn't get it. This is very wrong. What one of the very wrong things, wrong ideas. But I think what is the um, core problem, I think, and you can tell me how you feel about this thing. Do you see the current? Because we are living obviously in a, if we compare communistic and capitalism, at the moment world is dominated, in almost like dominated by capitalism, and even China have a mixture between some communistic regime and capitalism. Without the capitalistic part of it, it probably could have died and would never be a rival of USA. Would you agree on this?
yes, I would agree on this, and I would also like to address some of the other points that you mentioned. So about the accumulation of wealth, a major turning point for that was the Dodge versus Ford case in the United States, where, before that, they would incentivize workers by giving them a share of the profits when the company made a lot of money. But because of that case, and because the law in United States is based on precedent and not on the actual interpretation of the law, unlike in Europe, they set a precedent where they decided that um, the company has to give its money. The company's purpose is to create value, to get money for the shareholders and not for the workers. So after that precedent was set, anybody that was a shareholder in a company could sue if they thought that the company was paying the workers instead of paying the shareholders. And that created the breeding grounds for this accumulation of wealth that we are seeing now, where the workers aren't getting anything. And if you look at this graph of salary growth versus production, and you see production growing and growing and salaries being basically stagnant, it's because everything is going to the shareholders because of this precedent. And because America has been able to export production so much and its business models across the world, pretty much everybody has started doing the same. Uh, and there was no law protecting against it in Europe. Maybe under communism it was, but under communism everything was owned by the state anyway. Um, so before that was a thing, before Ford versus Dodge, I think it's actually Dodge versus Ford. Um, this wasn't really a problem, right? Because the company was making money, the workers were paid more, everybody was happy.
I don't think. I mean, I think you're generalizing. It's
I am,
possible. It is possible that. I mean, when I see here,
I am.
when I
The
see
thing
what the
is,
situation here, it's so much inequality in Spain, and this have been for 400 years through the colonization of South America. You can see extreme differences between the wealth of very small amount of people, and they are located in very small areas, and the rest is extremely poor.
Spain is very socialist, is it not?
It is now for the last
Right?
15
Why is
years.
the inequality still there if it's
Because
socialist now?
it is not real socialism. It is okay. Let me tell you why there is a socialism at
I
all
think
here.
it's real socialism.
No, it's not no never. It will never be, because there is nothing here
I
is
could make the
private.
same argument that
I
this
mean,
is
everything is
whatever you
private
don't
here.
like is not real capitalism.
So sorry, what you gonna say?
I said I could make the same argument that whatever you don't like about capitalism is not real capitalism. You know, we're not going to get anywhere at this
No,
rate.
no. Well, if you're saying, I mean, yeah, we can tell like this. I can agree on this statement that nothing, whatever it is, then I can say, of course, then the socialism in Bulgaria or communism was not communism, but then we're not going in any direction. What we are trying to see here probably is, I don't know, observe somehow what I don't even know how to tell this, but you know, I can tell you what where is the problem. The problem I see, I live in Spain now, and I can tell you this. I mean, the place where I live, Catalonia, is the most advanced part, probably one of the most advanced places with industry. We produce basically everything here, but still there is extremely a lot inequality for whatever reason. It doesn't matter, and the thing is, it's there is growing tension in the society. And this is what Marx predicted. He said, okay, it's going to be a revolution. I don't think there will be a revolution here. And I'm sure you also say no, there will be no revolution. Would we, can we,
No, it's a slow boy, but here's the problem. Um, it's not really inequality that's the problem because inequality is the default state of mankind. Like people are not equal, they're not born equal. They're born in different places in different cultures with different capabilities, right? They have different IQs, they develop differently in terms of physical strength, speed, what have you. So inequality is the default state, and that's okay. That's a fact of nature, and we should
okay,
accept it. The
then
problem is that people don't have the opportunity
no,
to, uh,
I think this is not even the
you know,
problem. Don't I agree on the inequality definition which you just gave, but there is another big problem, and I think this is what I'm trying to get. But this is the heart of the problem, and I'm gonna tell you the heart of the problem, and it's security, because the real security of in the society. What I mean by security is, yes, the worker from Venezuela who is working here for 1,000 euro, and the developer, whatever, who is working for 5 6,000 euro here, and the other person who have a house, or Catalonian peoples who have house. I mean, most of the Catalonians here are millionaires because their apartments, whatever houses they have, they worth million at least. So this thing leads to to the fact that there's so many people who are doing blatant crimes on the street. So the crime rate is going nuts, and is growing and growing with this. Okay, I say inequality, but the thing is,
I mean diversity.
maybe you can tell it. The problem is rich people and poor people are living almost together. They're not living in the same places. The neighborhoods in Barcelona, where I live, we are only rich people are living here. We don't have poor people here, but the poor people are able to go into the rich people's neighborhoods. They come into our towns, and they do whatever they want, because you cannot start killing them or putting them into jail, because you suddenly have to put 4 or 5 million immigrants into the jails. So this is why we don't have law. We don't have real law for the petty crimes, for even big crimes. Every day I see crimes. People, I mean, a week ago, in front of us, they robbed the supermarket leader where I'm going every day, and there was no reaction. They said, no, we cannot do this because they stole for less than 5,000 euro, 4,000 euro, whatever. So you see the rise of crime and the unpunishability of the perpetrators. So there are more and more. They see
That
this
is the
thing.
problem indeed.
So there is, what was the, and I'm coming to this solution, what was the false solution of the socialist here and the socialist in Germany, where I observed for 8 years, and here also 8 years. So 16 years, I'm seeing the same way. So they're just giving a lot of social, I mean, I just give them money for free. They do nothing. And instead of doing crimes, instead of in, integrate these people somehow and make them work, uh,
Sounds like they're paying protection.
so they're just paying them not to kill on the streets, but there
Yep,
are too
that's
many.
what it is.
There are too many, more and more and more and more. So, and our economy is not possible. I mean, to me, this is an unsustainable model, and
It
I
is.
think this is, now you can argue that I think this is intrinsic feature of capitalism. You can say, no, this is not the capitalism, and
No, this is the problem with diversity, not
no, but
capitalism.
wait. But okay, these people came from all over the world, and we can say, okay, then the globalization is wrong. We should not allow people from the poor countries to come here. We should not allow Africans. We should not allow people from Middle East, America and Israel, and everybody else. With Spain as well. We destroyed Africa. We basically destroyed America for 400 years. So these people.
No, Spain didn't
What do you mean?
really destroy
We are destroying
America.
now. We are destroying now, because I can give you example. When you go to any supermarket here, there is fresh fish. Really, we eat a lot of good fish. The highest quality fish is in Spain, in the shops, in everywhere. But we don't have fish. Our sea is completely, I don't know how, I don't know, there are ships that are dragging the floor, and it's dragged so deeply, so there's nothing, it's empty. And our ships are actually traversing Africa, Africa coast, and down even really, really low. They're going to almost South Africa. And the sailors, African sailors, they try to attack sometimes Spanish ships, and of course they are killed. Those people there, they use normal boats, like small boats to fish. We use very big ships, and we do the same thing. We just take everything what we can, and this is how Spanish people eat. We eat the best food, but it's on because we basically steal it from the others. We have done a similar thing with a lot of South American uh, nations on many years, for many things, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I think this is the imperialistic part of it, and this is what I think. This is in this equation where all nations are on the chessboard. Spain, Ghana, whatever, Dominica, Argentina. We dominate on the chessboard, and we dominate by force.
Dominating the chessboard is not inherently wrong. It's
It's inhumane.
exactly
It's
how you
inhumane
do
in
it.
the end because
Well,
it leads.
it
It
depends.
leads. But you know, it leads to the immigration because people don't want to live in bad condition. I didn't want to
People
live in bad condition in Bulgaria. That's why I moved to Germany. And then
So, first of all, people would not emigrate if there isn't a place to emigrate to, right? So that's the problem of the Spanish government allowing them to come into Spain. Then there is the problem of how uh, Spain is projecting its power across the chessboard. Like you can do it in such a way that you do not destroy those other societies. And
you
since you
can. You
mentioned
said
the
you see, you
Americas,
can. You said you can do it.
you can do it without destroying the societies that you
How?
are projecting power over.
How do you how?
Uh,
Because
I can
the
I can give you the example of how Africa was colonized, and I know a lot of people uh, are gonna go like, "Oh, apartheid" and things like that. But before Africa was colonized, there was no infrastructure, and there were a lot of tribes warring with each other. So when the colonists came in, they had to draw borders and put themselves in between the warring tribes to just stop them from killing each other and build their infrastructure. Of course, they then started building the mines and exploiting the local workers, which is something that
but why
maybe
did
should
it?
not have.
They did it in first place only because they want to take the resources. They didn't go because they like Africans. We didn't go
Yes,
to South America because we like South Americans. We
but
want to
you
take
can you
everything.
can take the resources without being essentially a brute, like the way China is doing it right now, and that it has won China a lot of popularity in Africa.
Wait. Uh, so the way China is doing things is exactly what I tried to explain you about Russia, how it did it for Bulgaria and not for Romania, I guess. And I would
And you like
agree,
that,
and I like it, and I would agree with this if this is the general case. But the general case is, I mean, this is an exception. China's behavior is a total exception, probably because Chinese people are so different, the way how they understand global politics and relation with other nations at all. This is their uh, way of thinking. I don't know. This is natural features of them, but this is not how we the white people are doing things. We plunder, and this is what I think. And you said, and I'm gonna say this is imperialism, and this is what Jody Brown was based her idea on. This, and she was not able to distinguish between capitalism and imperialism. I can distinguish it, and it's different. I agree, it's different. But
yep.
can you say that? Yeah, we can go. We can. I mean, can you say Spain or Germany or England can get on a Chinese way, or France? Because France is still exploring whatever she can from whatever French people can do with Africa. It is not colonialistic time have not
Right
stopped.
now, they cannot do that. None of the countries in Europe can do that. There are some prerequisites from that. Like you said, the elites need an understanding of geopolitics and diplomacy, proper diplomacy, not the way Europe has been doing it, like do what we want or we'll make the United States, we'll stick them on you. Because that's how Europe has been negotiating, if they've been negotiating at all, because since the Russian war started, they all avoided talking to
But
Putin
don't you see
because
what happens
bad.
if Europe was gone in a Chinese direction for some time? Because I think it went into this direction for some time, and
He did.
colonialism in Africa was more or less stopped, and the reverse process has started. Then you see Trump brought back the colonialism on the white horse, and everybody's clapping him. Don't you see this?
No, I see only the MAGA cult clapping for him.
Yeah, but
I don't see
everyone,
anybody else.
everyone, every one of our leaders are on their knees in front of him. He gathered
Yes,
all of them
because
in the White House, and they were like on their knees in front of his zipper.
like I said, America has long been pulling the strings of Europe ever since World War II, and every European leader uh, has been controlled by America.
Okay, so if you're saying
And
that
we
the right
cannot
direction,
have European leaders independent from America because Europe has no vision of its own, and no nation in Europe has a vision of its own. Maybe Hungary.
I think Hungary is it, to me. I'm really confused by Hungary because sometimes I mean Orban, who represents basically the interest of Hungary, is talking one thing, and then he's completely in alliance with Netanyahu. I don't like and Trump, so I'm confused of this guy. I don't understand, and I don't like this guy.
So you just said that he represents the interests of Hungary. Now, Hungary is in the European Union and is between a lot of countries that are very friendly with the United States and Israel. So he has to, be very careful how he navigates these waters.
But yeah, okay, but what is the interest? Because I would say, okay, then
His
the
interest is Hungary, the
yeah,
well-being of Hungary, and
but
the
okay, but
continuation of Hungary,
what I mean when when you say interest, is it? I mean,
and
i-
maybe reclaiming some of the territories of Hungary as well.
yeah, but okay, the interest is the interest of Spain to completely take the whatever can take from Africa. It's in interest of Spanish people because it's in my interest to eat fresh fish instead of not eating
But
fish at all.
you can eat fresh fish without taking it from Africa.
How can I do it? We no longer have this. I mean, we don't have it. We don't have it.
There's no fish in like the entire Mediterranean, and
No, it is in artificial. How we call this? Uh, Farms. It's not. It's feeded artificially with artificial food. It's not free food. It's not free. It's not this passage, whatever it's called.
not even if you send ships farther out.
We have to send our ships very far. And it's actually the same with Japan. In Japan, it's even worse because they have dragged or whatever 100 kilometers or 100 miles. I'm not sure what was the number, but 150 miles inside the ocean. So they have nothing, but they still have the big ocean. So their ships are going very far to get them.
Sounds like an ecological problem
It
that
is ecological
maybe
problem,
should
but
be
this is just an except. But this is only one thing. The same applies for the. We don't have here. We have closed all our mines. Germany closed all its mines, so all the iron. And Germany is producing a lot of metal things now for Ukraine war is. I mean, triple, quadruple the need for metal. So these metals are not coming from Germany itself. We don't have. They didn't. They closed everything. So everything is coming from Africa, and actually some is coming from China, some is coming even still from Russia. Uh, so our continent is not sustainable. I mean, we cannot sustain this quality of life that we have
it's
now.
not sustainable because they've closed their mines and their power plants and
So
destroyed
are you?
the
Yeah,
ecosystem.
yes, that's true. But is it possible to
But
make a
some of these
reverse?
you can reverse exactly. Like
No, I
the
can tell you why we
ecosystem
cannot
will.
reverse. You know why China is such a powerful? It's because in Europe, European people in nine. I mean, I live in Frankfurt. Frankfurt was the dirtiest city in the world in 1989, and it was the cleanest city when I was living in 2015. It was one of the, I think, second cleanest, I think, after Vienna. which was also very dirty city. Uh,
Visited Frankfurt in 20 something, and it was pretty dirty.
it it is not the quality of air is it was really, and it's really
Oh,
good.
you mean the quality of air? I was talking about
Yeah,
the
quality of air, not the
traffic.
quality of the dirtiness on the streets. I'm talking the quality of air
Okay.
because Frankfurt was full of factories, and you can still see that there are so many areas of factories which are closed, and they make disco clubs. They make all kind of funny things there, just because in 1980s Germany, along with United States, UK, and everybody else, we decided to move all the dirty production out of Europe, and it's not because
China.
we. Yeah, everything is to China. Some part of things went to India. Actually, after it, a lot of things went to Russia as well. But it's not the reason. Everybody say, oh, it's because it's cheap. No, it's not because it's cheap. It's because it brought cancer. And people don't want cancer. And because cancer is not good and it's not curable. And we will never, I can tell you, we will never get the factories back, no matter who and what tells you, the populists and everybody, because nobody wants cancer. Nobody wants to get to work in a factory, which will bring you cancer.
There's many ways you can get cancer, and people are still getting cancer
So sorry,
now.
what do you say?
There are many ways you can get
Of
cancer,
course,
and
but
people are
from
still getting cancer now.
yes, exactly.
And
But this is different.
I'm actually not sure if the rate of cancer has been increasing or decreasing. Like it's probably been
This
increasing,
is
if I
tot
remember
it's
correctly.
extremely decreased the cancer of I'm talking about the lungs cancer in Germany. And the workers in those factories and the I'm not sure whether you understand the process, because actually I had very close relations, and my sister was working with a Chinese company which was producing things which are hazardous, and my wife was working in a company in Bulgaria which produces hazardous things. So basically you cannot protect the workers in the factory from being exposed to chemicals, and this is with all the norms, the quality of norms and so on in Europe, you cannot bring
Yeah,
back those productions back again. And
you
Chinese,
can bring back, but you know, when someone wants to work in such a factory, they are making an informed consent that they will be exposed to these chemicals, and there are still
who is going to
plenty
want
of
to die?
dangerous workplaces. It's not a guarantee that you will get cancer
It's not only cancer. There are many
there,
other diseases you can get.
and many other things. Like there are people at workplace accidents all across Europe, and people dying at work uh,
Yeah,
for
but you think we can bring back industrialization to Europe? I mean, this is the question. If we bring back
think
this industry,
it's the same thing. You can move industry anywhere as long as there's people willing to work. Right now, you cannot do it because maybe there's laws against it, like there is in Germany. Um, I don't know if all of the nations are in the same situation,
yeah, but
but you just get rid of these laws and
who
to
is
allow
going to work?
industry back.
Who is going to work? Who is so stupid? I mean, just
It's
remember,
not about being stupid because again, it's not a guarantee that you will get cancer. There
and
were many
that's true.
people
It's
who
not
worked
only
and
cancer.
didn't get cancer.
So
Or whatever it is. Like you can't survive a factory. A factory is not a death sentence.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
can understand,
especially
but
if you are careful and there are some rules in place to make the workplace safer for every kind of workplace. If those are respected,
okay, then I'll
uh,
give you another example.
fewer people will suffer.
Let me tell you another very probably. I'm trying to bring you in the direction where the European society have reached, and I think it's now turning back. Apart from one way, in Germany, when I was living, there are more than 5 million out of 85 million. I'm not sure how. I think maybe 90 million now. 5 million, they were not working, and they didn't search for work. So because of the social system, because of social benefits and everything,
Yeah,
these people didn't work
that's a
and didn't
problem
want
everywhere.
to work. And
Hmm.
there is a reason behind this, and the reason is not that German system is so social. It's not the reason. It's because if you don't give money to these people, they will start rioting. And this is when we're back to Marx, because this is the artificial way to make society calm down, or not get on the streets and start, I don't know, attacking shops. And
So
what we actually see in America, because we don't see it, we don't have it here. As apart from UK, I've seen it in UK, and recently I saw it in UK. But this is every day in America, every day in the neighborhoods of black people and so on. You know it. That it's like this there.
so if people are rioting because they don't want to get a job, that's a legitimate reason to disrupt them. So to quench the riots. That's not a reason to riot if there are jobs available and you just don't want them because you want to sit on your ass and not do anything. If these kinds of people exist, uh, they should not be allowed to riot.
What do you mean?
I
What do you mean this? Rioting
so
is not. It's a choice. You can go to riot because you want. Nobody can stop you to start. I mean, take
no,
Molotov
but the
cocktail and
police
just
can
throw
come
it.
in and start beating the rioters until they
And what happens then?
go home.
And then they're coming more and more, and then you have a civil war.
No, 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 no. There have been many riots that have been quenched by the police, like the Tiananmen in China. That was more and more across many,
Okay,
many
but
different
have
cities.
we reached the point? Do you see? Have we reached the point where any European countries have stopped its social benefits to the citizens? Have you
No,
seen it?
we haven't reached that point, but it is reachable. Like we could at some point get to that. And then if people riot because they don't want to work, well, tough. The thing is that money was essentially created as a measure of someone's contribution to society, right? Because that's how initially you made money. You create something that someone wants and they will pay you for it. So
This is very
you,
capitalistic definition, but I can probably agree.
it is the
It's not
actual
exactly
definition
like
of
this.
money in cap.
It is exact.
But
It's not true in general case, because you have
it was
invalids.
created to ease trading because it wasn't very easy to trade when things were worth different amounts. Um, but that's what in capitalism, that's what money is. It's a measure of your worth and your contribution to society. So if you don't contribute to society, you don't get any money
This is what you have in
because as
America.
long as you are able-bodied and like you should be expected to contribute and not just consume because you are a consumer. You cannot starve to death, right? Because if you don't consume, you starve to death. You have to consume what society the rest of society is producing. But you also have to contribute in some way. Maybe you contribute more, maybe you contribute less, but
Man,
you
but
have to
this
contribute.
is utopian thinking, because you can go here, you can come to Barcelona or anywhere, and you see thousands of black people who came
So
from Africa on the boats.
I
They're
think it
totally.
was Stalin maybe who said it that uh, hunger is the best motivation for work. I could be wrong on
Yeah, but
Stalin, maybe it was somebody
these
else.
people will not will you
If
know.
their alternative is to work or starve, they will always choose work.
But how you gonna start them? Because I think you don't understand this.
Stop
They
giving
have
them money, stop giving them allowances.
no. Some of them or most of them don't get so much money, and they're doing
It doesn't matter.
crimes.
Don't give them anything at all.
But then
If they are
you can.
able-bodied and unwilling to work, they do not get anything.
Okay, let me tell you what will happen then. And what is happening actually already in Barcelona. Then you have thousands of criminals on the streets, and then and you have not enough policemen. We have this, we have every day these examples here of people calling the police. My wife called it. I called it. Nobody's coming. I mean, a month ago, my father-in-law was his wallet was stolen, and there is cameras and they say no, 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 we cannot even look into the camera, and we cannot find because it's only some wallet. So it's everywhere, and everywhere it's happening. You cannot put policemen on every second citizen. You cannot turn Europe into police state.
So, how was this a problem? It should have been worse of a problem when, I mean, before cameras were around, for example.
I can tell you how it was with Spain. It was uh, a dictatorship, and this is why there's so many people who want Franco back, because they like the dictatorship. It was a right dictatorship, but it was the time when the biggest prosperity of Spain
Yes,
happened, and also the biggest prosperity for Bulgaria happened during a communistic time, which was a dictatorship. It was a
yes.
totalitarian regime,
The biggest prosperity always
and
happens under a
also
benevolent dictator,
also combined with extremely high level of security, and these petty crimes were basically zero in Bulgaria and zero
which
in
is what
Spain. Sorry.
you are also seeing in China right now.
Exactly, exactly. They have now they're implementing with cameras, high technology now. But I'm sure without the
You can
before
do
the
it without
camera,
as well.
we can do it without this. And I can tell you why.
Exactly.
Every second citizen is basically used as a spy on his neighbors and so on. Like we have done it in Bulgaria this way. So you can do this. It's doable with and without technology. But we're going in the direction of the dictatorship this way. So
No, this is the direction of the police state, which is, I guess, kind of a dictatorship, a way to enforce dictatorship. Uh, it's not the only way. Like, you don't need citizens to spy on each other to actually get to that point.
maybe the biggest question you can see where I'm
You
dragging.
can look at you can look at the UK where they are actually implementing this, and it's not getting any safer.
It's I think UK is the most unsafe country in European,
Exactly. And in
apart
the
from two
UK,
two
they
three
have
cities
the
in
people
France,
spying
Marsilia.
on each other and reporting to the police, and they have a bigger police presence, but they don't have a dictatorship.
No, but no, it is. I mean, it's the UK is a dictatorship because already you cannot
No,
protest
it's a
against.
prison, not a dictatorship.
It's what?
It's a prison
Okay, you can
run
think
by
about it.
the highest ranking inmates, but it's not a dictatorship.
Okay, it's kind of a prison. Okay, I can agree on this, but it doesn't matter. The thing is, what we live in now, I don't. I mean, we can say it's a capitalism. It's not exactly, but it's broken.
It
It's
is capitalism.
sorry, what?
It is capitalism
Yeah,
in
it
most of the
is,
world.
and it's not functioning to me.
Yes.
And I can we can argue whether we'll reach a point of total like revolution, what Marx is expecting. I don't think it will happen, but I can tell you my prediction what will happen, and I think it's we are already 2 hours. I can tell you my prediction, but I want to hear your prediction first because I have very good idea about myself how this will evolve. How do you think our Europe will evolve, and your country particularly maybe different, have a different way, but how do you think about Europe's future?
Uh, I don't see a very good near future for Europe right now. Um, but I wanted to say that if you look at the biggest countries that made the biggest recoveries um, after the 80s and the 90s, which are Russia and China, um, both of them had communism, and the way they recovered was very much not communism. Uh, so even though the culture was essentially communist, and China still calls itself, the party is still calling itself communism, but it's not communist. Both of them incorporated elements of capitalism, but under some strict supervision. And the level of supervision that they have is not the communist kind of supervision where the state owned everything and did everything, administered everything, and whatnot. Um, but the state just sets the rules of the playing field, and then in a very capitalist fashion, people are allowed to play there, build their companies, and participate in the market. And that seems to be the recipe for success. It's also very uh, similar in some ways to the economic revival in Nazi Germany as well, and how all of that infrastructure got built.
Okay, I like this. You know, it's an even optimistic, and it's an example. So yeah, I can agree. You see, we can agree. The this is a convergent point because I like what what you're saying about China and Russia because I believe exactly the same. But I'm talking about not these countries because they have different people have different mentality than Europeans. So
Was
do you think that it's even applicable to Europeans? What was done in Russia and China?
yes, maybe not to the entirety of Europe, but this is again Russian people and Chinese people also have different mentalities. Like the Chinese people are very different from everybody to the west of them. And you see different people's able to uh, make this work. So I'm fairly certain that it can be made to work pretty much anywhere else in the world. I don't think that the mentality of the people is something that can prevent them from this in particular. It can prevent them from some things, and some um, things about the mentality of a people uh, um, take a lot of time to, let's say, iron out. Uh, but in this case, you can implement some uh, amount of state supervision that is not overreaching, right? That confirms the mentality of a certain people, and then just allow the people to participate in a somewhat open market.
This is really nice. I mean, continue. I'm not gonna stop you.
Yeah, so the market has to be o- open and as free as possible, and the state should just make sure that there are no monopolies, oligopolies, or things like that, because this is how we got into the situation that we are right now. Um, and again, this all started from the Americans because they're the companies, and actually it's everywhere now in the world. The companies are essentially defining the markets, like the labor market. It's everywhere is the same, right? You cannot find a company that is offering you something way above uh, the market level. Everything is made to be the same because they are allowed to do this.
You know what? Where is the problem? Is I can tell you where is the problem in what you're saying. I think it's the people are the problem because the moment when you have a company which have grown a lot, it start corrupting the government, and this is what now the American government and every government is basically so much corrupted from those people with the money. I mean, you see Donald Trump is bragging about Madeline or whatever this woman who is
I mean,
holding. Uh,
money has always been corrupting the
yes,
government.
and
Before the
how can
companies
you?
were able to corrupt
So
the
so when you
government, the
have this
banks
this
were
money,
corrupting the government.
so how can you prevent this? Because I think it's China is showing the way how to prevent these
You have
people who are caught
you
in
have
corruption.
to
They are
make the
killed.
government not depend on loans and money from companies and banks. It's a bit of a step on the way to autarky. Um, so, the United States right now has a lot of debt, and they're borrowing money from the Fed. Like it's a pretty well-known story by this point. So that's why the government needs a lot of money to get pumped into it, and they're taking that money from wherever they can. And with that money comes the influence of the companies of Miriam Adelson, of whoever has this money to give it to the government. The same thing is happening in Europe, because all of the governments in Europe are essentially just wasting a lot of money, so they always need more because they are promising all kinds of benefits, but again, because they are also very socialist, uh, and they want to have free education, free healthcare, free everything, etc., etc., and also, like you said, money for people who don't work and don't do anything. That is a big waste of money, right? So that as long as you have those things in place, it's very difficult to get the government to not be dependent on companies, banks, big money, you name it.
So how exactly you want to make the governments independent of this big money? I didn't get it. How can they
How do
become
China and Russia do it?
so? Chinese government
We
is
almost did it once. If you remember Ceausescu, uh, he reduced the external debt of the country to zero,
yeah.
and
We
that's
we
one of
also
the
was
reasons he was taken out. Because that meant the country was no longer beholden to any foreign interest, and people could do, I mean, the nation could do whatever it wanted. It was a step on the way to
so
independence, and the
so so
banks
what
had
you
to
what you
handle
saying?
that.
So the first probably first step is of Turkey, whatever it's called, for each of the countries to get into this
It's not
state.
complete autarky because complete autarky means that you also have all the resources you need and you don't
Yeah,
need to
not any
import them
country,
from
not
anywhere. I
every
mean, it's
country
nothing
can
like
do
that.
this.
You have to get rid of the debt, and for some it's impossible, like for the United States, because it has like an astronomical amount of debt that just keeps growing, and they're never going to pay it
Without
back anyway.
without the wars,
and
America is gone.
and
You
also
can
you should not have a debt-based economy, and you should disallow usury, which would help a lot. Essentially, you should have money backed by labor and actual value than by other money
Well, this gets
or
us
debt.
back to where the money, I mean, the real value of the money, because now they're just a piece of
Right now,
paper.
most of the money of the world is backed by debt.
Yeah, exactly,
It's not
exactly.
any actual value.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's interesting what you're saying. Probably possible. We'll see. I can tell you my prediction of how Western countries are going to behave in the next. Western European countries are going to get out of the crisis, because to me it's a crisis, existential crisis for Spain, Germany, France, England, whatever, all the Western European countries. I think their only way, and maybe this is the other way, what you just explained, probably. I don't think it's going to be this way. I think the only way or I think the way going out of this crisis is by war. And that would mean war not only not against Russia, definitely not against Russia, but war against weaker countries, against Africa, especially against Africa, especially against South America, those countries which are defenseless and they still have a lot of resources, those countries which go out of colonization and they don't have the capability to defend themselves, or yeah, and there are no defenders. Like, I think the multipolar world was the idea that uh, somehow China and Russia will be helping those weak countries and will live in more uh, um, just world. But I think this is not how Europe can survive. This It can survive
Um,
only by eating the smaller and weaker. And this is my prediction. I'm telling you this. You have a different, I guess. I mean, you can tell me what you think
no,
about it.
I just don't really agree with that because Europe cannot go to war with Africa without pissing off China and Russia, right? Because there's Chinese infrastructure in Africa, Chinese interests, you cannot just go to war and
But
expect that China will not do anything about it. So if you attack Chinese interests anywhere, China will go to war with you.
no, it won't.
They cannot really do that.
I can tell you there are so many examples in, especially in Mali, in Burkina Faso, and Nigeria as well, Central African country, Somalia, Sudan. This is not the case. Chinese invested a
But it's
lot.
not the case yet because there's still plenty of African countries where, that's not the case. Um, but as long as these start to run out and actually pose a risk, there will be a response to that.
This is your prediction. But we'll see. I
No,
mean,
actually, my prediction is that
we'll never reach this
it's
point.
gonna get really bad for Europe, and the problem the big problem in Europe is that it's very diverse and to the point where, again, going back to what we discussed last time with the social cohesion, there being no social cohesion, the people cannot be united behind a single purpose.
That's I
So
agree.
I
I
I
agree there.
see it devolving and continuing to devolve until some greater power that could again be the United States or Russia or China or whatever steps in and does something. And depending on what they do, this can develop in one way or another. But I can't see that far into the future.
Yeah, I expected this from you. I mean, you made a lot of predictions, a lot of very smart, I think, observations. And Alex, I really, really, am grateful and thankful for what all these 2 hours which you spent with me. And I think it's a good time for us to finish today's talk. Uh, and people who have a lot of brain food for after, I think, after they hear us, whenever they hear us, because it doesn't, I don't think this conversation is going to fade in time. I think these so many problems which are just going to be staying for like they are with the society forever. And I think in near future we're going to have similar discussions, because I think it's worthwhile, and I guess our positions may change.
I mean, we're definitely going to have a lot to talk about. The world is getting a lot more crazy by the day.
Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to look into the Telegram to see what actually happened in the last 2 hours, because, or 3 hours, because I was out and I didn't see anything. So things might have changed dramatically even in 3 or 4 hours. Thank you once again, and yeah, thank you for everything to anyone who is going to watch us, hear us, and yeah, I expect us soon again. Thank you again, Alex.
Thanks for having me. All right, see you soon.
Bye.
Cheers.